Fire, fire, fire.
This is what we want. I literally only started playing a night elf in World of Warcraft because I saw what kind of transmogs they could wear, like the night elves. I was like, damn, this is pretty hot.
A few weeks ago, I was sitting in a meeting with a lead designer and the chief creative officer of CI Games, watching them redesign a female character in front of me, based on feedback that I was giving them in real time. And about halfway through, I remember—
You hate women, girl. You just hate them.
Thinking, this is crazy. Crazy that I am in here, first of all, but crazier still that they were genuinely wanting to hear what I had to say. We have gotten so used—
First mistake, listening to women.
Studios that do not care what their players think. Studios that just tell you what you should want, and yet here I was suggesting a necklace on a seraph and watching them draw it on. In 2026,
cool.
One of the most radical things a video game studio can do is ask its players what they actually want to see, and
Disgusting.
then listen to the answer. And while that should be a bar—
I think that there has to be like a median between where the devs have a vision of what they want to do and then listening to the game and then having like actual feedback, because I know this is going to sound kind of hypocritical, but sometimes players are retarded. You have to listen to the people that either play a lot of the game or they play the game a lot and they fucking hate it and they keep playing it. You got to listen to what those people are doing. Also, Moontails, thank you for the 10 gifted subs, and Bane with the 5. Thank you so much. Yeah. Welcome to Game Balance. Well, I mean, I don't even think that. Like, I think, like, I don't know. I've seen people putting in skins that I thought were dumb, and I'm like, why did you waste all that time putting a skin into the game that, like, maybe one person with, like, a couple hundred hours, like, asked for? Like, I don't know, man.
It's easy to clear. AAA in particular seems to have a really—
That's like a visual perspective.
Just look at the last few months. We are drowning in hero shooters and extraction shooters that nobody asked for.
Holy
High
shit,
Guard,
shut this
Horizon
head off.
Hunters Gathering, Marathon, which Marathon alone cost 200.
A GGG dev said players are very good at identifying problems, but not really good at solving them. Yes, actually, dude. Dude, that is actually, man, who said that? GGG? Oh, grinding your games? That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I have a lot of complaints about, like, even the world in general, but, like, I don't have solutions for it. Someone smarter's gotta do that for me. I'm a woman, what do I know?
50 million and has lost almost 70% of its player base since launch. Even Halo is now reportedly getting in on the extraction shooter trend. Yikes. Now,
wait, when was this made? Oh no. This was 2 weeks ago. She doesn't know.
Here, all
she
of that to
doesn't know,
studios that take feedback in stride and make beneficial improvements. Of course, we know the recent ones,
Yikes.
Crimson Desert, Monster Hunter Wilds, but also titles like Sea of Thieves, Street Fighter V, Final Fantasy XIV, No Man's Sky.
Sea of Thieves is getting blown the fuck out by Windrose.
Of course, and even Star Wars Battlefront 2, which I was reminded of recently, and that included DICE and EA removing a bunch of the predatory pay-to-win monetization that was included in the game at launch. All very different games,
but it was too late
ones
already.
that ended up taking the exact same approach, listening to player feedback, implementing it well, and ultimately being rewarded for it. Because when players feel heard, it is clear that they can be pretty forgiving. And while we have touched on this for a few videos now, we often see this really great comeback story that happens with games that have launched to bad or mixed reception and have managed to claw their way back to a much better place with their audience. CI Games—
Because people, honestly, they can overlook a lot of mistakes if the core mechanics are good. If it's original and it's fun. Why do you think DBD has such a stranglehold on the, oh gosh, what's the genre called? You guys know what I'm talking about. Why do you think there's like a running meme of like, this is gonna be the DBD killer? It's not, because people are willing to put up with all the fucking bullshit. Yeah, asymmetrical horror. Yes, they have such a stranglehold on asymmetrical horrors because nobody else has done it right. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was good fundamentally, but the game devs really fucked up and dropped the ball. They didn't nerf it fast enough. The maps are really boring and repetitive. Like, I don't know, the movement's clunky. There's a bunch of stuff that like people have pointed out with like other games, not just like DBD and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but like all the other games that try to take its place, they just fall through because they don't fucking listen. At least DBD, like, yeah, you can make the argument like, oh, they don't listen either, but like, there's a reason why they are basically a unicorn in that instance. Friday the 13th crashed on multi. Yeah, they really dropped the ball on that shit. It's sad.
Lords of the Fallen is a really great example of that exact arc, and I ended up getting the chance to speak with them directly about it. Which brings us to today's video. I am so excited to say I had the opportunity to partner with CI Games to show off
cool.
5 never-before-seen female character designs for the upcoming Lords of the Fallen 2. We are also going to talk about how CI Games, a mid-sized studio, has spent the last 2.5 years since the Lords of the Fallen launch in 2023.
I have to interject this so I don't forget. One of the most amazing and beautiful fashion designers in the world, a lot of them are men. Men, Coco Chanel is a girl. Yves Saint Laurent is a man. Beautiful fashion designers can be men. I don't know why it has to always be like, oh, well, all these men, they're like sexist and they don't know what they want. There was appraised people in the world. They are... A lot of them are gay men. Yeah, sure, that's true. But like a lot of them are hetero men and they love women. Yeah, men know what they want. And most of the time, women will dress as beautiful women. What the fuck is wrong with that? Why does it always have to be covered up and shit?
Building something really special while still making meaningful updates to their original game, and how at their core, they are a studio that refuses to be lectured or gaslit into making a different game than the one that they have set out to make. A game built by gamers for gamers.
Gifted.
They really are a great example of how not to do all the things that we are always asking developers not to do. So let's get into it. If you have been here for any amount of time, you already know female characters in gaming is the topic we keep coming back to, and not because I necessarily want to keep coming back to it, but because...
Why do I want to buy outfits in BDO and Lost Ark and what other Korean MMOs are there? I'm kind of falling through here, but why is it in those games I want to buy the skins and give them money to like make my character like be, you know, buy them skins for fucking digital outfits? Maybe because like they have nice titties and like big asses to show off and I want to be a pretty character? I don't know. Maybe I should buy the Concord outfits where it's a recolor of a Michelin Man. Yeah. Yo, Artemis, like the 5 gifted!
Because the industry, notably
people want
Western
attractive
AAA,
characters.
has just given us so many reasons to over the years. Normally by following the pattern in some way, shape, or form. You know the one. Shout out again to the 1348 X Photo devs for reminding us of it recently.
Why do you expect a woman to necessarily be attractive? What the fuck does that even mean?
With their, why would you necessarily expect a woman to be attractive tweet?
Because women are beautiful and like expressing your appreciation for beautiful men and women is like literally the core front of art, literature, movie making, any form of media. We've had statues built by like actual like, you know, people from thousands of years ago, pre-Mesopotamia, of these statues with figurines of women's curves, and you don't think women have to be attractive? Huh?
Never gets old. The same desaturated color palettes, the overtly tactical outfits, the stripped down femininity, almost like an embarrassment of the female body itself. Hips and busts get slimmed down,
like
shoulders
whatever.
and jawlines get bulked up, and anything that reads as...
I mean, honestly, these two, the one before that with the orange hair, they just look bland to me. They don't stand out as characters. But then you could also make the same argument about the ex-Voto character, where it's like, she stands out, but like for the wrong reasons.
Styled back. On top of that...
Is that... Holy guacamole. What is that? What is that? Why are the eyes crossed?
Our strong, modern female characters tend to get handed very similar personalities.
Yeah, I want to buy the skin for this chick. She's hot, bros.
emotionally walled off, constantly annoyed, or very sarcastic. They are weighed down by some past trauma. She is often complex and nuanced, but is capable of girl bossing her way through most situations, which is really just an industry code for...
You guys are very bigoted.
She honestly kind of sucks. Basically, the pattern is turning our female character into a toxic male character in an androgynous looking female body. And we have seen how players respond to these types of characters every single time. Mixed reviews if they are lucky, actual flops if they are not, or just zero hype around the character at all. But good news, because on the other hand, we have also talked about current games and studios that are getting it right. Clair Obscur, Stellar Blade, Baldur's Gate, the Monster Hunter.
Everybody on the planet wanted to bang her, bro. No, she's too hot. This is unrealistic body standards. Little did we know, they scanned the actual wife of the creator. They did a 3D scan of her body. Yeah, sure, she's really fit and takes care of herself, and that might be unrealistic for a lot of women. Sure, I understand that. But she exists. It's not to say she's fucking fake. Not wife, but Korean model? I thought that the model was one of the devs' wives or something. Wasn't it a model? The wife was a character designer? I swear I read that somewhere. No, not wife. The dev's wife was a developer. Okay, maybe I'm mixing it up. The wife is an artist? Oh, okay. Okay, the wife designed. Okay, I mixed it up. The point is, it's like this girl exists in the real world.
Gate, the Monster Hunter Wild Girls, female characters who are beautiful, capable, feminine, sometimes deadly, and surprise, surprise, people couldn't get enough of them. Which brings us to CI games. Because when you have been watching this same cycle play out for years, and then a studio comes along and breaks it, and is openly vocal about why they are breaking it,
these animations are crazy.
But before we get into the brand new character reveals, I want to talk a little bit about what the CI Games team has actually been doing over the past few years, because
I'm naturally not attracted to her because she looks like my sister. Damn, chat, this guy's sister's pretty attractive.
These characters do not just materialize out of thin air. They are the result of something this studio has been building for a long time. All right, I have to admit, I was actually pretty late to the Lord of the Fallen party. I remember hearing about the original like way back when, and I was aware of the 2023 release, which launched to pretty polarized reception, but it was only recently that I actually sat down to play it, and
apparently the gameplay was kind of mid, but the design was cool. People praised it for its design.
I really enjoyed it.
Like the visuals and stuff.
I had the occasional frustrations with Umbral mechanics, like physically getting myself out of Umbral. And I'm pretty sure I was also stuck on the Pieta
These
boss
animations
longer
are
than I was supposed to be. So the skill issues showed up pretty early and often for me, unfortunately. But overall, I had a lot of fun. Back to the 2023 release though, Lords of the Fallen launched back in October of 2023. While the bones of the game were absolutely there, a very ambitious, dual world design with gorgeous art direction and a real participant of the Souls-like genre, there were also some legitimate issues. Performance and how the game ran, balance, and generally just some rough edges kind of overall that resulted in frustration from players. And
it's an Unreal Engine, isn't it? That's probably why.
Not like that. Most studios can do one of a few things. They can double down and tell the players that they're wrong. They get defensive with their audience. They go quiet, or they just back out completely and start working on the next project like this first one never happened.
When you are selling a product, you can't get defensive over people criticizing when you make a bad product. It just goes against the fundamental principles of you want to sell a product to make money. It's not like you're putting it out to the world for free. It's like not a piece of art that you like plaster on a bus stop or something, right? Like people can criticize it, right? But it's more within their right when they literally give you money for it. You have to take that into account. Their voices matter. They give you like a value and a currency.
But CI Games didn't do any of those things. They took the feedback in stride and just got to work. What followed was over the next 2.5 years, they shipped over 70 updates and
70 plus updates? That's insane.
We are talking like big,
in
actual
3
meaningful
years
patches Full reworks, expansions, the whole thing. Version 2.5, the final major update, dropped in December 2025 and brought a brand new veteran mode and reworked enemy encounters across the entire game 2.5 years after launch, and they were still cooking, wanting to give players the absolute best experience possible. The best part is that the community feedback consistently made its way into those updates in things like the lamp guidance system, the UI overhauls, the co-op rework. None of that came from a marketing team or a focus group telling them what modern players want. It came from players asking and CI Games actually listening. On top of that, they did want to be as communicative as possible with their community. Community posts, roadmaps, dev diaries, and they even created a YouTube series called...
I think that, for example, Blizzard used to be very communicative with its community, like in between. That has gone down so fast, and the game has gone downhill super quickly. I think in Shadowlands is when they basically stopped talking to the community, and it shows. The updates, like, to bugs are slow. Things being broken is, like, really, really deteriorated. Like, I think in all games you need to have communication between players, and at least between, like, people that make content off of it, too. I do feel bad for certain... like just Blizzard streamers that make a living off of it, and they basically have to take it on the chin that sometimes Blizzard isn't gonna listen to them that much. Yeah, like streamers who have thousands and thousands of hours. And I'm not saying that just because you have 1,000+ hours or more than that in a video game means that you know better than everyone else. It's that you need to have like a consensus, like a council of people that have a lot of hours. Maybe one of them is like a little more critical than the other. You need to have talks like that with the community in order to gauge on like what is a priority in fixing, what is a priority in the list of priorities of that subset in order to make a really, really good update or a good game. And I just don't think like some companies, big companies, are arrogant and they think they know better than the players who want to play their game. They have a sunk cost fallacy. Some of these game devs just fucking clock into work. They just do. Diablo 4 could have been so good. A lot of people have been saying that it took them like 2-3 years to like fix the fucking game, which is outrageous because people have been giving them money for like the entire time.
Lifting the Veil, where the team literally walks players through combat changes, new systems, the whole Umbral rework, which also includes behind-the-scenes conversations with the people making the game. The dev team is also genuinely active on places like Reddit, Discord, X, like...
I don't think that's mandatory because sometimes devs just want to, like... I think if you are a community manager and you take that feedback, that vitriolic, toxic feedback that sometimes many communities have, and then you bring it forward to the devs, I think that's a job in and of itself. I don't think devs have to. If you want to, go ahead. You have to have a very good mental to like go through comments saying, oh, this game is dog shit, you should kill yourself. I'm sure they say nasty, horrible shit. That's why I think like you have to have a filter of some sort, like a community game dev or like people who filter through like actual criticism and then present it to game devs in a good way where the game devs don't get absolutely shit on. Like sometimes they deserve it rightfully, but like the people that do say it, they don't say it in the right way. Death threats are not uncommon. Oh, absolutely. Like I'm not saying that they should fucking read that shit. Is it game dev? No. Yeah, no, I totally get it. I'm just saying that that's why you have in-between people. Problem is corrupt community managers and miscommunicate to get devs. I think it's better to take that risk than to not have it at all, but I also understand why people don't have community game devs because they have a bad reputation. There's bad, pattern recognition in that regard.
Engagement with real players where they are talking with you instead of at you. But probably my favorite part of this whole story happened early 2025 when the CEO, Marek Tominsky, just casually started running open polls on his personal X account, asking players directly what they wanted to see in the upcoming sequel. No fancy, expensive consulting firm or focus group of 20 college students who have never played a Souls-like in their lives, just a CEO and gamer on Twitter asking other gamers what they wanted to see across various aspects of the game.
That's why I like Steam reviews, because it shows how many hours someone put into the game. So some person has like 10,000 hours in BDO and is like, this game is trash, and it's like I would believe that over someone who has like, I don't know, a couple hundred hours, and they're like, I love this game, but they haven't gotten to like the end game, or like, I don't know, they don't know what the shop has in store or what mechanics lie behind, you know, certain things and how long it takes to get to that point. It's like, I take that very seriously. And I don't think that Twitter is exactly like the best gauge either of like people's feedback. It's like, you don't know what the fuck these people are doing. You can also bot, you can do this and that.
But also,
it's hard to say.
You know, he wanted their take on hot female characters, and the answer to one of those polls was completely unsurprising. Players want beautiful, visually striking characters, and Souls-like audiences in particular love iconic character designs. So naturally, once several Western journalists caught wind of these polls, they obviously took this in great faith and gave them the praise they deserved for being so open and communicative with their own player base. I'm just kidding. Clearly, Lord of the Fallen 2 was now going to be labeled the worst thing that they could think of.
Yes! I was about to say, if game journalists are complaining, you're doing something right.
Bait. And in case anyone needs reminding,
if people are complaining about you on Reddit, on Twitter, or a game journalist, you're doing something correct.
These are the same studios that
99% of the time.
Leon and Requiem. Goon for me, but not for thee. This one paragraph from a Kotaku article
not for me.
literally made me laugh out loud.
They'll praise Leon Kennedy mods having, you know, gimp suits and shit, but you can't have hot, sexy chicks in video games. It's just a step too far.
They wrote, and I quote, Lord of the Fallen 2 won't have a political agenda, but it will have hot women. Like, that is somehow supposed to be a bad thing. That is according-
Culture war dog whistles. Okay, I want hot women in my video game. I don't want a political agenda. I don't want to hear about the Dragon Age character, how she's hated by her parents for like having non-binary pronouns. I just want to play the game, man. I don't want to be ripped out of immersion, bro.
To the director of the studio behind the sequel, who is busy with culture war dog whistles, while fans just want a new Souls-like that learns from the mistakes of the previous game. Huh? I'm pretty sure the CEO was just running a couple of open Twitter polls asking gamers what they wanted. Although, you know what? I do think that they were maybe onto something, just not in the way that they meant it, because for me, when a studio does actually get a female character right, when they are communicative with their player base, it is kind of like a dog whistle, just in a good way. It is usually a sign that the studio is listening to their audience and hasn't been completely ideologically captured by whatever the loudest voices online are demanding. Now, obviously, like we have said before, a pretty character isn't going to save a bad game. You do still need real substance, but when I see a studio nailing it on this front, it at least gets my attention, and I tend to start paying attention to what else they are doing right. On top of that, CI Games announced two pretty big things just last month. First, the original Lords of the Fallen has officially—
And they're actually showing gameplay, like really. That's what gets to me. It's like, you can see it's a pretty game. Like, yeah, obviously there was issues with the first game with the lag and stuff, but what they have is alpha gameplay. Looks phenomenal in my opinion.
Sold 2.5 million copies, which congratulations. And second, they closed an additional 19 million in funding specifically for Lords of the Fallen 2. The official wording from the studio is that the money will be used to diversify distribution channels, which I will just let you read between those lines however you would like to. Something that catches my attention with this even further is that investors do not usually drop 19 million on just vibes, you know? Maybe Sony investors do, I don't know. But they saw the last 70 plus updates over the last couple of years, the reception around the alpha footage of the game, the community engagement coming from the top down, and they saw a studio that actually listens and delivers on what they promise and is not scared to make the game its play.
Marvel Rivals has Gunnar skins and it has a very steady, healthy player base, even with making mistakes with balancing and whatnot. They still have people that want to play the game all the fucking time. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think they're probably doing something right, man. There's gotta be something to it.
Players actually want. It's interesting to see how it normally tends to work out for studios that focus on making a great game first, while actually treating their players with respect and like the paying customers they are. But about those pesky female characters, journalists could not stop writing about let's get into them. Like I said at the start, a few weeks ago, I did get the chance to sit down with CI Games Chief Creative Officer Ryan Hill. Yes, his British accent does sound exactly as cool as he looks. I just need everyone
He looks like
to know
Adam
that.
Lambert.
And we walked through 5 brand new character designs for Lords of the Fallen 2, none of which have been shown off publicly, so I am beyond honored that
I will be rating.
For some reason, asked Lil Ol Me to show them off. Quick fun fact about Ryan is that before he moved into games, he actually spent some years working in the women's fashion industry, so...
No fucking way. This is not pre-watch. I literally talked about fashion designers and how men can be one of the best fashion designers in the world, and they can create beautiful dresses for women to wear and to show off, and for women to want to look like the models that wear them. Are you shitting me? I didn't know that! No, not pre-watch, I swear to God! There's no way!
He has a lot of thoughts about the current state of the modern female characters, and he has got a real understanding of silhouette, fabric, how femininity translates into design, and how women actually want to look. I got on the call. These designs were mostly complete, but not fully finished.
All right, let's see it. I want to see it. I want to see it.
And they genuinely wanted my thoughts in real time. We would be looking at a character and I would say something and they would just start adjusting it on the screen in front of me. I've never had that much power in my life and it felt great, I won't lie. But while we spoke, it was so incredibly clear to me that they are working very hard to
show it to me! She's blue-balling my ass!
They genuinely do care about their audience and the things that they have to say, and they want to make their experience as great as possible. So as we get into each character, it'll probably become pretty...
Dude, he looks like Jack Sparrow, but modern. Modern day Jack Sparrow.
Obvious that the style is that of a heavy metal Souls-like, fire and brimstone, and just very theatrically dark, and definitely a more aggressive tone than the first game. Also, while I am a lore enjoyer, I definitely am not a Lords of the Fallen lore expert. Everything you are about to hear is based on what I learned from the original game and what the team shared with me. So consider this more of like a vibe check rather than a full deep dive into the lore. But
this game must be decent, right?
Let's meet the ladies. First up, we have the Dark Justiciar, who is an enforcer of the Dark Crusaders, an elite military order. Divine Judgment. She is lined in leather and steel and has completely unwavering faith. The lore actually calls them battle maidens who serve as judge, jury, and...
Kind of reminds me of the old design of the Amazon before they nerfed it in the Resurrected version. This is one gripe I have with Diablo 2 Resurrected, is they 100% nerfed the designs and how those characters look compared to like the old game. The Amazon. Hold on, I'll pull it up. Resurrected design visual. I gotta find it. You guys gotta know what I mean. I'm not crazy. Yeah. Like they kind of nerfed the fuck out of it. They even made her boobs smaller. Like compared to like the old one. This is it. This is what I'm talking about. They nerfed her. Like, look. They put the flaps on, they removed her thighs. And again, I think that even though the thighs are covered here, or like the hip bone area is more covered, I find this more appealing visually than this because it doesn't make any sense. I don't think it makes sense from like a fashion perspective. Like, yeah, even if they covered it like this with the pant line, it would have looked better. And again, it makes me wonder, why is that? Why did they do that?
Executioner, and the design tells you kind of exactly who she is at the first glance, with her horned helm and more of a grounded silhouette. She's
not really choice of the devs. Well, yeah, someone told them to do that. I'm not saying I blame the devs. I'm just saying someone told them to change it because the 1999 version of the Amazon is too, it's too sexual. Ooh.
Trying to feel like someone who shows up to pass a sentence on you. You see her, you understand the design, and you instantly know what role she plays in this world, which is exactly what
she's
good
like
character
an evil
design is supposed to do.
Oh, she's got kind of like the Sauron crown too, like the big spiky crown.
Without a single line of dialogue, you already know everything you need to know, and you still want to know more. And what I really love about her is that she is just one of those characters that is deeply beautiful, but also terrifying at the same time, and she kind of shows how those things can enhance each other. A simpler woman like myself might describe this phenomenon as scary horny, and it is a real invalid design flaw.
That's right.
Next up, Calanthea. She is an all-divine vampire among the cruelest of her kind, and she is both
She's
the
a
sister
vampire.
and the lover of
She can suck my blood anytime. God damn!
Lord Cadigan. Yes, you did hear that correctly. When I was reading the lore notes, I actually had to go back and reread that section to make sure that was correct. It was. Gothic opera indeed. She also runs something called a theater of torture, where humans are her performers and their debut act is usually their last, which I really love that bit of lore. Whoever wrote that, bonus this quarter for you, I hope. Okay, Orioleth, probably my favorite character that we worked on. Lore-wise, she is the captain of the Seraphs, a highest order of Orius' faithful, who is the god of light, a radiant warrior who is anointed to enact his divine will. Her armor is described as something that heralds the arrival of divine reckoning from afar. Almost kind of like...
Yeah, I bet she does. I bet she does do divine reckoning from afar. Holy.
The Silver Surfer, I guess, but make it gold and holy. Speaking of which, her design is gold on
How's that stay on? Don't ask questions. It's magical.
Gold on gold armor that is meant to be seen from very far away, and she is built to inspire and intimidate at the same time.
Yes.
Which I feel like can be such a hard balance to pull off sometimes.
Magical
but they
glue.
absolutely nailed it.
Some
She
type of glue.
looks gorgeous. Okay, yeah, this was the character we ended up spending a really good chunk of time on in the meeting, and I had a lot of thoughts on her hip armor and her shoulder armor, and I asked if we could lean a little harder into just slimming out her figure and putting more focus on her decoration.
How dare you want to make women slim? That's very not fat. What is it called? Body positive. That was the word. Body positive of you, miss.
So that all of the beautiful armor work could really breathe on its own. And again, it was just so fun to see the team just adjust these things in real time while we were on this call. I even asked if they could give her a necklace, and they drew it on while I was watching.
That's a good addition. It breaks the, like, kind of like the, what is it called? Not that I'm like looking at her honkers or anything. I'm just saying it breaks the line where it's like it's not too barren.
Quickly touch on that. I am not a designer. I am not
a
3D artist. I am just a girl on the internet who likes pretty characters. But the fact that they were so genuinely excited about my feedback, that's kind of the whole point. Because listening to your audience doesn't mean just blindly doing whatever some random voice tells you to do. The best devs take feedback, sit with it, and figure out how to bring it to life in a way that is actually serving what they are trying to do. And of course, anyone can just nod along with you, but the studios that take in feedback, weigh it against their own creative vision, and are capable of implementing it very thoughtfully, those are the ones who are able to stand the test of time. And that was honestly the takeaway that I had with this meeting. They weren't just saying yes to things to make me feel good. You could tell that they were genuinely thinking about whether or not each suggestion actually served the character in the absolute best way. To get us back on track though, this is the Radiant Priestess, and if you think that her armor looks similar to Orioleth,
because they're related.
She belongs to
you can literally tell that they're related because of the wing design and shit.
The same divine order as her.
Oh my
same
god!
Gold armor, which
Priestess.
again, I am in love with. Same heavenly aesthetic and overall vibe. But where Orioleth is more of a warrior, the priestess is kind of like the conduit. She is a vessel of Orius, again, who is the god of light, sustaining her allies with holy magic and demolishing her enemies with sanctified steel. Usually deployed under a seraph like Orioleth, the lore describes her purification process as immolation beneath holy light.
What is she talking about?
An extremely cool way to say, I will set you on fire in the name of God. I love how they made her a bit softer too, and it fits the more spiritual aesthetic that they were going for. The flowing white fabric, the slender spear instead of a sword. At a glance, you can kind of tell she's more support-oriented, which, again, I love storytelling through character design.
And again, in other video games, even Mercy, for example, who's kind of like an angel-like figure that's through the game design, she's a healer. She does damage, she smites people, she shoots them in their little... She buffs her allies, like, it's the same principle. People like that shit and it works, even though it's very stereotypical.
And last, but certainly not least, we have the Trelesi Huntress. She was once a pre-runation ranger devoted—
This makes me think like demonic corrupted huntress, because like the headgear makes me think of like a brutal demon or something.
to protecting the blood bloom of Throngar.
Blood bloom of—
That's a lot of words. Which is a blood-nourished flower.
Holy, and then it's got the feet too. Damn.
That the Trelesi cult worships. But this character's softly spoken prayers soon turn into blood-soaked rituals, and it is a classic tragic corruption arc. And what is so cool is you can start to see it in her design. It is the furthest departure from the more armored characters that we just looked at, signaling that she is a much more ancient, much
primal,
more earthy, organic, and feral character. And there is a wildness to her that the others just don't have. This one I really got into during the meeting. We talked about her helmet, we tweaked her footwear, and at one point I even suggested maybe changing up the cloth armor on her legs and adding a chain detail around her foot to help kind of tie it in a bit more with the rest of her armor, which they agreed and added those changes in. Again, just a reminder, I am really not an artist by trade, so
you don't have to be. Like, I think there is an aspect to having an untrained eye is something that people have to take into account. When designers, they kind of they not shoehorn themselves, but they get like tunnel vision on what they're looking at, and having a inexperienced eye can help a lot. Yeah, she's a target eyes, but I'm not even saying that. It's like you kind of just don't see things. Like, for me, as a VTuber, like, I did take people's opinions into account when I would show them things like, hey, completely unrelated, you don't know what you're talking about, but I want you to look at this and, like, tell me what's wrong with it, because I can't pinpoint it.
Watch something like that actually happen in front of my eyes.
Might not even be a VTuber enjoyer.
And knowing that it has ended up in the final design is genuinely one of the coolest gaming experiences.
Average people can't tell what makes people or designs attractive, but she clearly has some idea. No, I disagree. I think that people can discern something wrong with like a picture based on like brain pattern recognition
that I've ever had, but that
they
brings
just
us
might
to
not
the
know
end
why.
of
They
these
might just
characters.
say
5
something's
completely
off.
different designs, 5 completely different roles, all getting the same level of care and intention poured into each and every one of them. And remember, these are the kinds of characters the Lords of the Fallen community specifically asked for. Beautiful, aspirational, visually striking, iconic. CI Games asked the question, the audience answered, and this is what showed up on the other side of that conversation, which I think is so cool and honestly should be way more common than it is. Imagine if every studio just asked us our thoughts about things sometimes, instead of just always assuming
those chud gamers, they don't know what they're talking about.
And telling us what we should want. And like I have said before, while I love beautiful characters, there has to be
if I debuted a new model and people said to me, like a vast majority of my audience that has come to know and love like my design and my choice in artistic direction, I wouldn't freak out at them. I would be like, damn, fuck, what could I have done better? Like, I would honestly change something. Like, if that was like, if it came to that, I'd be like, man, if that many people dislike it, then yeah, there must be something wrong with it.
For a game to be great. And from my conversations with them and looking at their track record, CI Games is not a studio that is only focused on making pretty characters.
That's sick.
The
What the
70
fuck?
plus updates, the polls that they've run, the dev diaries that they've put out, the 19 million in investing, the whole Umbral rework. That is the same studio making these beautiful characters. These designs did not just appear randomly. The same mindset that produced them is the exact same mindset behind every other good decision that this studio has made for the past 2.5 years. That mindset being respect your audience, sweat every detail, and overall just make a great game
gamers are wrong,
you
not
actually
me.
want to play. The characters and the gameplay are not 2 separate wins. They are the same win that is happening twice. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for being here, and a huge thank you again to CI Games for partnering with me on this and for
That is such a cool design. It kind of reminds me of Tyrael from Diablo.
trusting me with the reveal of some of your fabulous ladies. I am still kind of in disbelief that I got to be a part of it, and I am also incredibly grateful to
I would
all
love
of
to
you
do that
for
one
being
day.
so supportive for my content and for giving me the opportunity to even do something like this in the first place. Thank you so much. I am so thankful for you. Now, Lords of the Fallen 2 is still in development and it is slated for a release later this year. While we don't know exactly how that launch is going to go just yet, what I will say is this. Based on everything CI Games has shown us over the last 2.5 years, I am genuinely excited and I cannot wait to see more of this game. Let me know in the comments which of the 5 designs is your favorite.
With the chains?
Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.
That was fucking hardcore. Sorry, I was listening. I was just like, holy shit, that was crazy. Yeah, the garrote. God damn. That's intense. Okay. That was a really great video. Go check out Miss Background NPC. Very sick that she got that opportunity. Very happy for her. She deserves it. She's cool. Oh my god, she's such a pygmy. Like, she just says what all these nasty, stinky men want. And they like want to make their characters hot. But also, I want to be like a hoe. And like, I want to get called a dirty hoe and bit. And then like, I want to like beat my meat. I hate the girls that say like, I want to be liberated and like goon and do whatever the fuck I want, but also fuck men, and men can't say I'm hot. It's like, bro, like, make up your fucking mind. You weird misandrous like light. Isn't she engaged? I think so. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.